Welcome back to The Rhode Show. This morning in The Buzz, as we enter this brand new decade, many people are starting to talk about making lists about what they think the future is going to look like.
Yeah, and now a financial expert has written an article that's grabbing a lot of people's attention. It's called Things Babies Born in 2011 Will Never Know. I mean, this is amazing. And some of the things, they're pretty surprising. So we're going to run through some of them and the reasons why.
You know, this one is an obvious one right here. Videotapes and movie rental stores, as we all know. You know, everybody's going tapeless now. And as far as movie rentals go, everybody does it online. I mean, you get the Netflix through your Wii. I mean, it's, you don't have, there's no movie stores anywhere now, I don't think.
It's crazy. How about books, magazines, and newspapers? I mean, like videotape, words written on dead trees are on their way out. There may be books, but for those born today, stores that exist solely to sell them will be as numerous as record stores are now.
And watches, maybe as quaint jewelry, but the correct time is now on your smartphone, which is pretty much always in your hand.
I haven't owned a watch in years.
I haven't either. Right down to the phone. Right down to the cell phone.
All right, what about wired phones? Or, you know, the phones that you have. Look at that old one there with the
rotary dial.
Rotary dial. I mean, why pay $35 a month when you have your cell phone? So people who are born today are going to think that's just a silly concept.
Yeah, we actually canceled our home phone service about 6 months ago just to go off the cell phones. How about CDs? First records, then 8-tracks, then cassettes, then CDs. Replacing your music collection used to be an expensive pastime. Now it's cheap, and cheaper is, I mean, it's as close as the nearest internet connection. It's nuts.
Absolutely. And handwritten letters. Now, for that matter, handwritten anything. You know, when was the last time you wrote in cursive? In fact, do you even know what the word cursive means?
Well, my kids are learning it right now. My son is in 3rd grade. He's like, Dad, what's the uppercase I in cursive look like? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, you know, we're typing everything.
Emma just got her first email account yesterday because I said, you know what, writing letters to your grandmother in Florida, it's so much easier just to email now, you know?
It really is. And then, you know, speaking of email, the mail. I mean, when you take the mail you receive today, then you subtract the bills that you could be paying online, which is most of us do that anyway. And money's direct deposited. You don't get checks mailed to you. A lot of us don't get checks mailed to us anymore. I mean, it's a bloated bureaucracy that loses billions of taxpayer dollars annually. And we just had a story this morning on the news about, you know, those thick IRS booklets you get around tax time explaining to you all the rules and stuff. They're going to stop mailing those out because you can just get them online.
And the other thing, you know, phone books. I mean, people talk about why do you need a 10-pound book to tell you stuff. You go on to Anywho, Google, you know, like there's so many sites you can go on to get the number in like 2 seconds. I actually still use 411, which is kind of old school. And my husband's like, okay, that just cost us 50 cents for you to look up the phone number on your phone. I know.
Same conversation with my wife. We get the cell phone bill. And she's like, why are you calling information to get? There's 3 directory assistance calls. You know, granted it's $2, but it's like
it adds up, right?
Al and I, we have conversations, you know. Every time the bills come, he calls me.
He gets the sweats when he looks at it.
I know.
But it's hard to say that these babies in 2011 will never know of these things. You know, of course, even with records and 8-tracks and things like that, you know, I know what they are, and that was before my time, you know. So I don't really think that these will be out as if they will never know
ancient
them.
Dinosaurs,
but at the same time, absolutely not getting the same amount of use. Like
not part of daily life.
There's one thing on the list that I'm really not excited about.
What?
This is TV news.
I know, are we like in trouble? Oh my gosh.
So I'm doing the math, like my kids, right? When they finally know the one that's born in February, so I'm thinking 15 years from now, right? 15. All right, so I'll be hopefully, oh gosh.
That's the thing though, Patrick.
But you know, it's like, no.
People always need people. So there might not be like as many newscasts. There's definitely not going to be the national evening newscast 20 years from now.
Right.
But people need people. So hopefully we'll still be employed.
There's that personal interaction that's needed.
Okay. You made me feel better about that whole subject.
Now you can breathe
But
again.
this is pretty cool. And I'm sure there's people, Courtney, that are adding things to this list of, you know, things that they have now that maybe their children won't even know about now, or things that they still use that their kids are like, what the heck are you using that thing for?
Absolutely. They're talking about things that they're going to carry on past 2011. I'm actually using the white pages in my house. My daughter is using it as a boost on her jumperoo. So we have it because her feet can't touch the ground yet. So it's still working in my household. But let's take a look at the live blog on FoxProvidence.com. Joe Butera says, the loss of the U.S. mail service would surprise me the most. I think we'll be getting mail for a long time, and I don't think the service is going anywhere. And Tripp says, I think watches being on the list surprises me. They're both functional and, quote, timeless. I think the watch might change, but will live on. Here's the poll right underneath the live blog. What soon-to-be old-fashioned item surprises you the most? A watches, B, mail, C, books, magazines, and newspapers, D, the separation of work and home, or E, TV and radio commercials. And I posted the story here with the complete list you guys should check out. There are some things that we haven't mentioned yet. And here's a snapshot of our Facebook page. Donna Stanley says, I think the thing that surprised me the most was books. There's nothing like the comfort of curling up with a good book, the smell of crisp paper and ink. She says, I love it. And Amanda Smith says, I'm surprised that CDs are on the list. In my opinion, buying CDs is a better alternative than re-downloading songs when iTunes has a meltdown and deletes everything, or the computer gets a virus. So it looks like she'll be hanging on to those. CDs and books will be here to stay, maybe. But